If you were no longer affected by the judgment of others and you stopped judging yourself, would you make different choices? Everyone has the potency to make inspired choices. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the creativity that is you. Now, here's the host of Inspired Choices Radio Show, Possibilities Coach, Christine McIver.
All right, so I've got a question for you right out of the gate. Are you playing business or are you creating a business? Yeah, lots of people are choosing to play. And this girl, no. I create and I play. So I'm going to invite you into listening to tonight's show. Whether you're listening live or in the replay, stick with me because it is going to be a butt kicker. Are you ready? Because business, baby, business is my pleasure, and I am ready to change the way we do business on this planet now and forevermore. And I would love to have some new and additional peeps to play with. So, yes, hi, everybody. It's Christine. I am your host for tonight's radio show on the Inspired Choices radio show on the Inspired Choices Network. And tonight we are going to be turning it up. Before we get into tonight's show, I want to tell you a little bit about me. So last week we actually said the radio show was actually about how to create when everyone else is creating more. Another business radio show that I did. And prior to that was 10 ways to make your business more pleasurable. So you can see that I'm on quite the roll all about business. And at the 10 ways to make your business more pleasurable, I actually created a PDF. If you'd like that, send me an email, Christine@inspiredchoices.ca, and I'll get that over to you right away. So, who am I? What the heck am I doing? Well, I do a lot of things, and some of the things that I love to do is work one-on-one with individuals, especially entrepreneurs, to really have them step into what turns them on, lights them up, and where they want to bring their brilliance and capacities to the world with their business. I love working with individuals who are really searching, seeking to change maybe low self-confidence or lack of creation, lack of abundance, lack of prosperity in their world. And, you know, I do that with many tools that I have gathered over many years, both from my profession as a human resources individual, as well as when I stepped into my own business, became a professionally trained coach, and added different modalities of what really turned me on and lit me up. And I now share them with other people. One of my favorite programs is Divorce with Dignity, where people are struggling in relationship and they're trying to figure out how they can move to a new one without actually blowing up their entire worlds. Now, this can be, and oftentimes when people hear the word divorce, they think of a married partner. This can be with any relationship, your boss, your business partner, your mother, anyone. What if we could actually be honoring each other and honoring what we've created as we close the door to that chapter? So that's one of my very favorite programs, as well as the pleasure of business. So stick around tonight. I'm going to tell you about some specials I've got going on regarding everything that I'm creating and some of the things that I'm creating with an amazing colleague as well. So if you are looking for a possibilities coach that will challenge you, that will inspire you, that will be one of your greatest cheerleaders, and that will call you out on your crap, contact me, Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. So tonight we are talking about, are you playing business or are you creating a business? Are you aware that most people are playing business and not actually creating a thriving business? Is it possible that you maybe have been playing more than creating? Today's businesses require more than ever before, more than you've probably ever even imagined. And what if you could be creating that with fun and ease, and it really start to thrive beyond what you've ever imagined? So I would love to hear your comments, your questions. You can come on over to our chat room at Inspired Choices inspirationnetwork.com. Click on the menu bar where it says the chat room, or please call in. I would double dog dare you to call in with your questions, because tonight we're going to change business. So who's up for that? So tell me, what does it mean to actually be, quote unquote, playing business? A lot of people that I've spoken to often say, well, maybe they're just doing it part-time or they're doing it occasionally. Yeah, maybe. And you could have a full-time business, your full-time hours. You could even have that business creating income, and it's actually not thriving, where you are really the energy of just playing. So when this came to me because if you've heard any of my radio shows about when I was growing up, my very, very favorite thing to do was to play business. Other kids would be playing house, other kids would be, playing cops and robbers and all the rest of it, and I played business. And so we would actually be, my younger brother and I would be in my dad's office when he wasn't around. I wonder if he actually knew that I was doing this. And we would be in there, and I would be carrying his briefcase. It was one of my favorite things to do. Oh, my God, you guys have no idea how much I loved that. I would carry his briefcase as if it was so important. I had very important things in this briefcase, and this was something that I needed to do to create this business. And then I would sit at his desk, and he used to have one of those great big ink boards, or ink blots that I would write on, and I couldn't even barely write at that point, so I would be drawing different things. And FYI, I'm not great at drawing, but I just knew that this is what a business person did. And then I would get out the adding machine. So we had one of those great big old adding machines with a big tape on it, and it was clunk, 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 and I would be playing with the numbers. Hence, my love of numbers started very, very young. And I would put my brother at the smaller table where he had to use the typewriter. And I would be dictating to him. Yeah. Isn't it interesting how my childhood game actually became my life? Okay, nobody else thinks it's funny. I think it's hilarious. Anyways, so I was playing business, but what I would do at the, when it was time to, have dinner or go to school or go to bed or, just when I got bored, we would stop and we would go do something else. So my question to you, everyone, do you get bored and do you stop? Do you get bored with what you're doing and do you walk away from your business? Yeah. Do you get frustrated and walk away from your business? How many of you are actually giving up on your business, right? You get frustrated, you throw your hands in the air and you're like, you know what, this is too much. I just, maybe it's just not for me. And you walk away. That, my friends, is playing business. Now, this does not matter. It does not matter whether this is a part-time business, this is a business you're just beginning, or this is a full-time business. If you are not committed to your business through the hills and the valleys, through the good times and the bad times, through the I don't know what the hell to do times, through the damn it all, this isn't making me money times, if you're not committed, why the hell would your business be committed to you? So if it feels like your business is playing games with you, maybe we should turn that around and ask, are you actually playing business? Yeah, I said it. Your business, is it feeling supported by you? Is your business feeling like you actually have skin in the game? Are you willing to show up and really do what's required? And would you stop just being a mouthpiece like, oh, I'm in my own business and da-da-da-da-da. I hear a lot of people say, oh, yeah, I have my own business. And then the next thing I know, they're talking about they don't have two pennies to rub together or, they really don't have they don't really like doing social media, or, they're not going out and meeting people, and they're not doing 90% of the things that's required in business. How many people are actually buying that as okay? Now, don't get me wrong. I do know that things in business can be pleasurable, and there can be and should be an ebb and a flow and a dance, like your business is your dance partner. Absolutely. I don't think that you should be chained to a desk at all. In fact, I've done it and I know it sucks. Now, there are times when it's, you got to get her done, and you got to lean in, and you got to do what's required. But there are other times when, it's time to go and create in a different way with your business. But if you're not willing to connect with your business, and you're not willing to actually have your businesses back, why in God's name would your business have yours? Why? You're just playing. You're just not actually willing to do what's required. How many people, how many of you are actually saying things I don't like to do this. I don't like to do X. And then you do nothing to change that, either with you, with hiring somebody else, with doing it differently in order to have that be added to your business. Everybody may not like salt, but I'll tell you something. If you're not putting salt in some of your food, it's not going to taste great. It's not going to turn out as well as it should. I don't eat baking soda by the spoonfuls, but I definitely do put it into my baking, and it makes a difference in my baking. Why would your business be any different? Why are you buying the lie that just because you don't like something, you don't need to add it? How many of you are actually willing to step up and stop buying the lies from yourself? Stop buying the lies of everybody else out there who says, it should be, I only need to choose what's pleasurable to me. Really? Let me ask you this question. Truth. If all you did was choose what was pleasurable to you, would you actually have pleasurable business? So let's talk about what a pleasurable business is. A pleasurable business is something that is creating. A pleasurable business is something where you are actually expanding and growing. And that means you're going to need to get uncomfortable sometimes. You know what? Especially in the beginning. And the beginning for you could be a week, 5 years, whatever it is. But if you've been buying your own lies, selling it and buying it, selling it and buying it, if you've been doing that for a long time, it may have taken you, 10 years to really get to that sweet spot and having your business be pleasurable. If you are not willing to do what's required for your business to thrive, and you get to decide, FYI, what thriving looks like. But if you're not willing to do what's required, if you're not willing to invest in yourself, in your own personal development, if you're not willing to invest in your business, if you're not willing to invest in your business's expansion, both physically and energetically, how much are you actually giving up on your business? There are a lot of people out there that say, yeah, I tried that. It didn't work. And when I would dig deeper with them and deeper with them, it often came down to what they didn't like doing. I'm telling you, growing up, I watched my dad do a lot of things that he didn't like doing so that he could create that pleasurable business. And I have done a lot. And there are some things that I won't choose to do again. And there are a lot of things that, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful. When I chose them, I learned so much about me and about my business and what my business desires. Just because it was crappy, just because it wasn't, easy sailing, doesn't mean it wasn't a contribution. So how many of you are playing as in not showing up, not being willing to look at all of your crap, not willing to look at everything that you're creating, which is actually having you just play business? Just play business. Because if you're not in it to really create it thriving, you're playing. And you can say whatever you want to say to me as a coach. You can say it to any of your coaches. You can be in groups, on social media. You can be saying, "Oh, I'm doing all these things," and da 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 da. But at the end of the day, can you look in the mirror and can you actually say, "I did it. I nailed it today. I shot it out of the park today. You know what? I'm not playing. I am creating a thriving business." So, everything that doesn't allow you to be honest with yourself so that you can really step into creating this thriving business, would you now be willing to look at it and then let it go? It's time, my friends. It's time for you to see that your business, one of the greatest things your business is waiting for, is for you to stop playing. Yep, that's what I said. It's time for you to stop playing so that you can have more pleasure with your business. Okay, we're going to go to our first break. I'm going to take a breath. And when we get back, I am going to bring in some of the questions in the chat room, and then we are going to continue. So you are listening to the Inspired Choices radio show here on the Inspired Choices Network. And tonight, are you playing business or are you creating a business? We'll be right back after this short commercial break. Stay tuned.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning in to Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you ready to have pleasure with your business? Yes, I said pleasure with your business. The pleasure of business a la carte will surprise you with topics like meet yourself in the boardroom, money, services, and you. Expand your visibility. The pleasure of communication. The pleasure of Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Christine McIver has so much pleasure with business and loves teaching all things business. Beginning a new business? Desiring to expand a current business? Or looking to resurrect a business that has been dormant? This program will get you fired up and bring more pleasure than you have ever imagined. Exhausted with your excuses for not creating a phenomenal business? Join now for all the pleasure with business. Pleasure of Business a la carte gives you total choice for what you desire and what your business requires. That's 24 weeks of different topics to choose from with weekly calls, audio and video recordings, and PDFs. This class will have you dive right in and use tools to create the business that has been speaking to you. Go to inspiredchoices.ca for full details or join the Facebook page Pleasure of Business a la carte. Now is the time for you and your business.
This is Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736 or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Well, thank you everyone for sticking around with us tonight. And if you're just joining, we're talking about, are you playing business? Are you actually creating a thriving business? So before we went to break, I was, if you just joined us, you want to maybe go back because I was kicking some butt big time about what it actually looks like and how you're actually letting your business down. So that's a really good comment. So Ron in the chat room says, it's amazing how much business feels like my nemesis, like I'll never be able to get it right. Okay, so what have you decided right looks like in business? And are you projecting that at your business? Because what I know about you, and yes, this person I'm talking to is a very, very familiar person to me. She's actually my best friend, and she's potent as a mofo. And so I know you create like no one I've ever met before. And if you create like no one I've ever met before, how would your business be anything similar to anyone else's? So are you actually willing to communicate with the energy of your business? And yeah, maybe stop calling it business if there's some screwed up thing that comes up every time we say the word. And, one of the things that I love from Access Consciousness is Gary Douglas has often said the thing that you seem to have the most challenge with, you are actually the most brilliant at. So is it possible, both Rhonda and everyone else listening, is that something that's true for you? Just check the energy on that. And if it is, are you willing to stop playing around and really acknowledge it? So that's one of the first things that I wanted to talk about in this segment is some of the ways that we actually create this playing business. So the very, very first thing is, are you ignoring your awareness with business? If you hear coming out of your mouth, I don't know what to do, or I feel lost, or I keep trying and it's not working, are you actually asking your business questions and then going to conclusion, right? So when you're asking a question, guys, you're not going into your head because you're going to get the same damn answer that's kept you in this loop in the past. You're asking for awareness, not answers. You've got to be willing to choose forward, and that means something different. If what is not working is the thing you keep choosing, you can't be surprised that the results repeat. So would you be willing to do something outrageous and crazy? Would you be willing to inspire yourself by having your business's back and your own back and following your awareness, even if it's the most wacky thing you've ever imagined or you've ever been tapped into as far as business goes? Because I'll tell you something, there's a lot of really cool businesses have been created over the last, 50 years, and we're not done. We are not done creating crazy business. And how much fun is it? If you're really willing to tap into that fun energy of your business can actually begin to start to permeate your reality, but you've got to stop playing. So Faith says, I also know the quote-unquote stop playing might trigger me a bit because I want to move forward with business in a way that feels like playing. Okay, so cool. I'm really glad it's triggering you, because then when there is something triggering you, if what I'm saying tonight is triggering you, get excited because we're getting somewhere. There is something underneath that triggering that's asking to come forward into your awareness. So would you be willing to allow yourself to be triggered so that you can see the crap that's coming to the surface? There is a difference between playing in the energy of what I'm saying tonight and actually having so much fun creating. I use the energy of curiosity as a child. I use the energy of dancing with all of my pieces, my segments of my business. I bring all of that in. And would you be willing to turn it up, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up, so that you can actually be seducing yourself and your business into something even more thriving? So stop ignoring your awareness. Be willing to really ask yourself the tough questions. So here's a great question. If I was willing to be totally vulnerable with what I'm aware of that my business is asking for, what would that be? if I was willing to be totally vulnerable with what my business was asking for, what would it be? So, if you're like, well, I don't know, blah, 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 blah. Okay, shut up. If you did know what it was, what would it be? Just play with that. Be willing to play with the questions. Be willing to dance wherever those awarenesses take you, and watch how that begins to create that pleasurable business you've been desiring. Okay? So it's not that business can't be a playground of creation, but if you are just playing it and you're walking away and giving up easily or allowing yourself to be distracted, you're playing. You are totally playing business. One of the greatest things that I see people doing that is one of the most unkind things to themselves and their business is that they're allowing social media to distract them. They're using it as a crutch. They're not actually making the demand of themselves to show up for their business. Now, if you know me, and if you've ever been part of The Pleasure of Business calls, the class that I've been doing for the last couple of years, if you've ever been part of that, you know that social media is a huge part of what I teach. And I know how really important that is in our lifetime today, because that's where the entrepreneur businesses are growing in leaps and bounds. Actually, Canada and Ontario is one of the fastest growing places in the world where entrepreneurs are popping up all over the place, which is so much fun to be part of this energy. But one of the biggest things that is going on is people are allowing themselves to be distracted by social media. So they are going in there and they're telling themselves that they are doing business, that they're communicating, but they're actually scrolling. And they're looking. And they actually don't have targets when they are going into social media. And they are getting lost in it. So one of your targets when you're going into social media could be, number one, I want to post something today that's going to possibly inspire or drive clients to my business, or some way that I can contribute to the people that I'm connected with that will add to the energy of my business. That could be one. The second one could be to go in and to connect with 3 new people. Connect with 3 people that you may be friended, or connect with 3 people that are maybe following you. Like, really connect. Check out their page, check out their feed, comment, interact with them. Spend 15 minutes. 15 minutes connecting with 3 new people. Okay? That could be one of your targets. Another one of your targets could be following up on perhaps an event that you posted where people are asking questions, maybe a group that you've created. Go in and ensure that you're following up with everybody, right? So that's targets. And then you leave. You wouldn't, if you were being employed by someone else, you wouldn't just play around. And I'm telling you, from someone who is in human resources, they've got ways now that they can follow at what you're doing, and they're actually blocking a lot of social media platforms on computer systems, and then they're watching you when you're on your phone, and they might, if they suspect, they might actually go in and see when you're posting things to see if that's what you're doing. So if that was going on in your business, if you had a corporate business and your employees were doing that, how long would you keep them employed with you? So if you were your own employee, would you actually call yourself out on that you were playing around in social media and actually not creating the targets and really moving forward with your targets? There's many times where I've had to give myself a very strong talk and really call myself out on not actually being the employee that I would love to employ. So it's a great question. Ask yourself this question: am I being the employee that I would love to employ? Because you know what? If you are a solopreneur, you should be looking at that again and again and again, that if I'm not doing and being what's required, I should be firing me. And so maybe if you find that you're doing this again and again and again, it's time to maybe do a deep dive into the choices that you've been making, a deep dive into where you're avoiding the truth, a deep dive into what's really working or what's really going on. Because I have this knowing that business can be so much pleasure, and pleasure doesn't mean it lacks challenges or days when you just want to scream. That's not what this means. Having a pleasurable business is something, you have a pleasurable business when you wake up in the morning and you're excited to step forward and to create again with your business. That's where you know that you have a pleasurable business. So Faith says, I have Facebook open most of the time, and I think that having the windows posted open to go back to later allows me to be distracted. I'm willing to change that. Fantastic, Faith. Rhonda says, I found that myself as well. I have to plan the times I go and then do what I do and then come out. It's highly distracting for me. Exactly. It's highly distracting for all of us. It's like you're being sucked into a vortex with the social media, right? And that's one of the most time-wasting things that you can do. If you are finding yourself super time-wasting, let me know, and I've got some tricks to start to change that. But right before we go to break, I want to tell you another time-waster is actually your email. Many people get completely distracted with their email. And I heard this man talk many, many years ago, and it was so funny because he said he was actually part of in business when we didn't have email. He said that email to him was like when he was in business and his secretary would walk in and she would walk in and she'd say, Bill, here's a letter from Sue. And then she'd go out and 2 minutes later she'd come back in, Bill, here's a letter from Bob. And then 2 minutes later she'd walk back in, and every time she would walk in, he would be interrupted and he would have to stop what he was doing. Every time you are interrupted at doing what you're desiring to do, it takes the average of 10 to 12 minutes to get refocused again. So if, Betty, the secretary, kept doing that to him, he said, I would have never gotten anything done, and yet we allow our emails to do that. So are you willing to stop playing and stop allowing anything to distract you and book time to really create in your business? Are you willing to really, really look at that? So you've got to check in with your awareness, and you've got to be vulnerable with telling yourself the truth. Okay, we are going to go to our second break of the night, and when we get back, we're going to dive into some more of these topics of where you could find yourself really not creating a business, but just, quote-unquote, playing business. Stay tuned, everyone. We'll be back right after this short commercial break.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning into Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for sticking around tonight. We are talking about, are you playing business or are you creating a thriving business? Okay, so the chat room is just buzzing. You guys should be over here. I'm telling you, it's amazing. We are talking about distractions and being honest and vulnerable about your awareness and really not ignoring it anymore. So the next thing I want to talk about, and distractions are huge. There are so many distractions. They can eat your time. I actually did this, some experiments with different people that were having big challenges at work, did it with a number of people, and what they had to do was they actually had to write down every 15 minutes what they were working on. So we created this chart, because you know me, I like to create things like that. We created a chart, wrote down maybe 20 tasks that they did in a day, and every 15 minutes that they would check off during the hours and so on that went by, what they were doing. And they started to see where they were spending an enormous amount of time in their emails because they were stopping and they were kept going back and forth, and where they were, it didn't make sense what they said, what they were doing on that chart to what they were actually getting completed in their day-to-day work. And so they started to get really honest, and they started to see now that they were actually diluting their focus and their efforts on things, okay? So we had a great comment in the chat room about multitasking. So being distracted and jumping from one thing to another is not necessarily considered multitasking, okay? When I'm creating something, so let's say, well, there's a brand new event coming up with my amazing colleague, Rhonda Burns. I'll tell you a little bit about that. So we are creating a fabulous event that is going for the first 100 people, the people that are interested in really creating a totally different reality with their lives going forward into 2018. We are creating an event called Bon Voyage 2017, celebrating what was to seduce 2018 and beyond. So that the first 20 people that join us, this is going to be for December the 20th. It's a 3-hour free live event. You got to come and play with us, because I'm telling you, we're going to be knocking it out of the park as we do with everything we create. So, but when Rhonda and I were in the creative mode, what we were doing was, okay, you work on this, I'll do this, and so as we were doing that, we were both jumping back and forth into several different applications and creations in order to bring it all together. So we were multitasking in different locations. That was creation in motion. And oftentimes when I am working, that's what I am doing. I may be working in the network here. I may be, I'll be creating something in the network, then I might be posting, say, on LinkedIn. Then I'll be over to my email to send out the information, and I'm back and forth in several different locations. It's kind of like, I often liken it to creating a large meal where you've got a lot of different dishes that you need to be kind of stirring simultaneously. That's multitasking to create. Now, if you've got 17 different things going on and you're just distracting yourself, and you're not able to actually be with the energy of dancing in several different locations to create that one dish, that's a totally different thing. So would you be willing to be upfront and be with yourself? I'm sorry, somebody just distracted me in the chat room. Yes, sometimes I'm actually in the tub multitasking with doing different things. It's absolutely true. You can be doing business from anywhere, but you got to be straight up with yourself. Are you just playing, or are you actually creating? That's a question that I hope will spark something with you. So another thing that I wanted to add in is, are you doing busy business? Are you doing busy business? So busy business can sometimes be dusting your office or doing your filing or making sure that everything looks great, all the while knowing that there's aspects of your business that your business is really screaming at for you to pay attention to. So are you just doing busy business? One of the things that a lot of entrepreneurs do as far as busy business is they work at creating a beautiful website. They work at creating an amazing website, and they do it for months and months, and they've bought the lie that they need to have a website before they can do business, and that, my friends, is bullshit. You do not. Now, do I believe you should have a website in today's day and age? Hell yes, I do. Should it stop you from contacting people and creating business? No. Even if all you did was created a landing page so people could start to connect with you and find you, you can have your domain name pointed to that landing page, and then you can be creating your website as need be, right? But you don't stop doing your business. So truth, are you creating busy business and lying to yourself that you're actually doing business? You got to be willing to look at that. Here's another really big thing that is a pet peeve of mine. Are you playing business in that you're copying what everybody else is doing? Are you? Are you looking at what people in your industry, maybe people in your groups or people that you've decided are amazing that you've connected with, and maybe you've given a little bit of your power and your awareness over to? Are you copying what they're doing? That is a great way to be playing business, because you think that you are doing something, that you're creating something, and all the while, when you create these things, they go, like they've got this dead energy on them. Seriously, just because you're turned in and tapped into what that person's doing that really speaks to you personally doesn't mean that that's what will actually create your business as a thriving business. Again, are you willing to look at that? Are you willing to be straight up with yourself? Is this something that will actually be a contribution to my business? Does my business desire for me to be doing this? Be willing to create and have you be the one that people copy. Would you be willing to be the one that people chase and follow and look to see, hey, what's she doing? I'd like to start doing what she's doing because look at how much fun she's having. Look at how much she's thriving. Nah, you wouldn't want to do that. You wouldn't want to be actually that potent that people now start to copy you. You know what? I used to get my knickers in a knot when I was wearing knickers. Anyways, I used to get my knickers in a knot when people would copy what I was doing. And now I just crack up. I'm like, yeah, that's right. People are copying me now because they get the energy of thriving that I am having and being with my business. They're no longer impacting me because I know what's true for me. And I know when they are copying me that it will likely not be very successful. And you know what? I hope it is. I hope they are uber successful. But they've got to make sure that it matches the energy of what their business is asking for in order to actually make that happen. So, what is it that you are unwilling to be and do that is stopping you from creating a thriving, conscious, joyful, pleasurable business? Are you willing to really get clear with this? It is so critical that if you are actually having a business, that you're willing to look at everything that you are doing and being. So we are going to go for our last break of the night. When we get back, I'm going to answer some questions in the chat room. Love you guys all in here. I love the activity. And you know what? If you don't agree with anything that I'm saying, or you don't agree with some of that I'm saying, I would love to hear from you. I'd love to really look at this with you. So you could always email me, Christine, at inspiredchoices.ca. And when we get back, we'll get right back into it. Stay tuned, everyone.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning in to Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you ready to have pleasure with your business? Yes, I said pleasure with your business. The pleasure of business a la carte will surprise you with topics like meet yourself in the boardroom, money, services, and you. Expand your visibility. The pleasure of communication. The pleasure of Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Christine McIver has so much pleasure with business and loves teaching all things business. Beginning a new business? Desiring to expand a current business? Or looking to resurrect a business that has been dormant? This program will get you fired up and bring more pleasure than you have ever imagined. Exhausted with your excuses for not creating a phenomenal business? Join now for all the pleasure with business. Pleasure of Business a la carte gives you total choice for what you desire and what your business requires. That's 24 weeks of different topics to choose from with weekly calls, audio and video recordings, and PDFs. This class will have you dive right in and use tools to create the business that has been speaking to you. Go to inspiredchoices.ca for full details or join the Facebook page, Pleasure of Business a la carte. Now is the time for you and your business.
This is Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736 or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine at InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Inspired Choices radio show. And tonight we're talking about, are you playing business or are you creating a thriving business? And the chat room is blowing up, man. I can barely keep up with it. It is so fabulous. Before I jump back into tonight's show, I want to tell you about some things that I am creating. So I have some major specials on right now, and they're not going to be on for much longer because I'm celebrating being in business for 9 years. So the first thing is the Pleasure of Business recordings, 24 weeks, audio, video, and amazing written, text, all about every topic that we created. You can get those for only $777. That's regular $3,600. You get it at huge discount. The second thing is the business examination consultation, regular $250. You can get an hour with me totally looking at your business for only $77. And the third is the Business Synergy Sweep, where I come in and I do a big review of everything you're doing in your business, and we do a strategic analysis, we work on targets, and we go into everything about your business. And you can get that 50% off just for the first 10 people. Regular $3,000, you can get that for only $1,500. That is a steal, my friends. So that's the one thing. And, of course, the other that I'm creating with the lovely Rhonda Burns, the Bon Voyage 2017, celebrating what was so we can seduce 2018 and beyond, which is one of the favorite things we love to do, is seduce everything we desire. So we had a question in the chat room, which is just going crazy in here, which is phenomenal. So one of the chat roomers said, what do you do about clingy clients, especially through email? I'm trying to find the question, via email. So they're constantly contacting her again and again and again. And one of the greatest things that I've done, and I haven't had people do it a lot through email, I've had them do it a lot through text. And so I will answer them a couple of times, and then I will say, this is a bigger issue than we can handle through text. We will need to book an additional session. So number one. Number two, I will actually call them out. I will call them out when I'm coaching with them, and I will ask them, what is it you are avoiding with doing this work that we have been creating together? Because if you're constantly looking at me, you're not willing to strengthen your own muscle in changing what you've told me you desire to change. Now, I'm not making them wrong, but what I am actually doing is having them look at it, because it's so easy for us to distract ourselves with, oh, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do. When you are willing to call them out of it, and I would actually say to them, and by the way, the next time you do that, I'm sending you a bill double for the next month. I'm telling you, they will sit up and pay attention. And let them know as well that that is a waste of your time and theirs. And this is what you agreed to. So we're really laying this out even at the beginning of a relationship. A coaching relationship can change that big time. So the last thing that I want to touch on about tonight's show is, what are you waiting until? What is it in your world that you are waiting until before you step up? What is it in your world, in your business, that you know you are waiting for it to happen before you actually step into creating this thriving business? Are you waiting until you have all the right information? Are you waiting until you know exactly what will make your money? Are you waiting until enough people show up before you begin to show up? What the hell are you doing in the waiting? And if you look up the original definition of waiting, our wonderful friend Patrina Fava brought this to my attention a while ago in one of her radio shows. Waiting is actually to lie in hostile wait, to lay in wait with hostile intent. Seriously, what do you think your business is going to be doing when you're operating with it from that energy? Get off your energetic ass and get working with your business in concert. Work with your business as it is your dance partner. If you wanted to have, seriously, a beautiful dance, would you wait until the right song came on, or would you get your ass on the dance floor and start to move your body and really start to infuse your body with all of the amazing energies of the music so you could get into the dancing? What if you were to use that same analogy with your business? Are you willing to get on the damn dance floor? And are you willing to dance with your business and allow your business to lead? You may think you know it all. You don't. Let me tell you, your business has a hell of a lot more awareness on what you could create if you'd get out of your own damn way. Woo! I've really turned it up tonight. I've been having so much fun. I'm telling you, I'm so grateful for everybody. I'm so grateful for my business. I am so grateful that I am no longer waiting. And I'm going to send a big challenge out to all of you. Would you be willing to stop waiting? Would you be willing to stop playing and really step in to creating a thriving, pleasurable business? I double dog dare you. What can we do to create a different world when we're all willing to step up? Have a fabulous week. We'll see you next Wednesday. Bye, my friends.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Inspired Choices Radio Show. Christine McIver will return next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have the best week of your life by making the choices that bring you all that you desire.